Three sisters with stories to tell. Books in our hands, we know them well. Flipping pages where dreams dwell. Chapter one, here you go. Turn the light, let the words flow. Laughs and love in every show. Books, sweet hearts, we grow.
Welcome back to part 6, Puppet Master, The Things Gods Break by Abigail Owen. This section, I really enjoyed this section. Yeah, I think, like you said, we'll get through it quickly still, but
every time you guys say that, you jinx us. So I'm gonna need that. That was like the 4th time that's been said so far.
We're going to do it.
I think we're getting better. But anyways, lots to talk about still, but yeah, I think overall it was a good section. I marked a lot of things that maybe I'll go back and read what was the exact passages from the first Crucible sections.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of the first book referenced in this part for sure. Sure. But with that said, see if you want to do a shelf shakedown, we'll jump in.
Yes, here's my rapid recap of last episode. Not very detailed, but Lyra does finish Demeter's labor with the help of AI Hades, which we found out he can leave his lock. Everybody's a little surprised. Boone made it back from his time traveling. Earthquakes were getting worse in Tartarus. We found out that Lyra and Boone are bound by a fated line. And because they were questioning everything, Nemesine took Lyra back and let her get a look at all of the times there's been a hard reset, all the times she's failed, all the times she's been murdered or Boone's been murdered, to kind of stabilize her in the fact that this is happening. She then gets a chance to test out her theory about time. She gets taken back to the where the bandits, the den of thieves. She gets taken back there and she leaves the axe for herself because she's trying to figure out that maybe I'm the puppet master. She starts testing it more, which is where we are now. Lyra and Boone made it through Poseidon's lock. We didn't really get to see what happened, but they did make it through. And right after the pandemonium attack again, Iapetus gets touched, or however we want to say it, and he hurts Phoebe. They get slammed into the lock, actually, and there's just gold blood everywhere. Lyra has a tense interaction with AI Hades. She's revealing some things to him, and he gets really upset, but then they kiss again, and it's a little less weird this time. He still doesn't believe her about the issues that are going on. And then towards the end, Lyra starts opening up a little bit more to Persephone when they're hiding in the cave from the pandemonium and trying to sleep. And then a crack in time finds her and is just kind of waiting for her. She goes and she's with Hades at Persephone's altar in his Olympus home. She tells him that Persephone is not dead, but she's in Tartarus, and that what he needs to do to get her out. And tells her that he needs to be at a certain time and place for the next Crucible to find his next champion, or his first champion ever, with no more details than that. That's kind of where we left off in last episode. Anything to add that I left out that was significant?
Okay. No, I think that was perfect.
Okay, cool.
I think the only thing I would say that it's not weird that she made out with AI Hades, because they do leave a piece of their soul in those little.
And we know that now, but we did not know that, so it was weird.
Yeah, my bad.
No,
it all runs together now.
Yeah, no, but we found it out. At least it's reassuring that it's not as super weird.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the rapid recap.
Perfect. And we are still breaking the sections up. So Chrissy, you're first with 67 through 71.
Okay. You guys ready to jump into them?
You stand you sometimes.
I'm so enthusiastic. Okay.
Well played.
But yeah, so part 6, Puppet Master. What's done hasn't been done yet, and all of it can be undone. Starts out with chapter 67. But the future keeps fucking up the past. Sorry, loop boop. And in this chapter, Lyra is kind of reeling from what she told Hades about Persephone. She hasn't told anybody in Tartarus about it, and is kind of worried that she's going to cause some issues interfering with time like she did. And she and Boone are getting ready to go into Hera's lock when a fissure appears. And who walks out of this fissure? First of all, somebody walks out of this fissure. Second of all, it's Lyra. with her head almost completely severed.
Completely forgot that happened.
Everybody's freaking, like Boone especially, I feel like is freaking out. Lyra's frozen, and all you really get out is like other Lyra, headless Lyra, gets words monsters, and Boone's trying to like revive her, and then the fissure just picks her back up. And something weird happens, and Lyra kind of explains it like she's swallowed up again. Um, and like she went through a frozen state. So, wild way to start this section with I wasn't expecting Lyra to step out.
No,
First of all,
No,
nobody
definitely
has
not.
stepped out of one of these before.
no, that was
See, now I'm confused by my own reaction of the whole first section was so slow for me. And I can't figure out why I would have
yeah.
thought that.
I don't know why you
That's
said that
wild.
either. When I was reading it, I was like, "What is she talking about?"
Yeah, it came in hot, like real hot. And then it
Well,
got
and
confusing.
Maybe that's what it
to-
was.
Like when all of that's happening, they hear Hades, a shout coming from below, yelling for Lyra. So somehow he's aware of what's going on,
Yeah.
which was
I'm
interesting.
wondering if like maybe in that time he went into that lock with her. And you know
Well,
how he showed up
probably,
in Lyra's lock. I mean, and
because they felt the reset for the first time and they all knew it. So I'm assuming the creepos in the locks also feel it.
maybe
To
they
some
all just come
extent.
out. Nobody really knows at this point, like what just happened. Like
Yeah.
everyone's just yelling. It was a pretty short chapter, but that was a big deal because they were ready to jump into the next lock and go into Hera's
Yeah.
lock to move forward. And this just like we can't do this now.
Yeah. I did also highlight on this one that they state Kronos stopped time long enough to yank them through at the gates of
I saw that
Tartarus.
too.
If we had, I think that was the first time that was written.
Right.
That they
I
actually
think if we just
acknowledge
kind of
it.
theorized about it,
Mm-hmm.
like how that happened, which did we or even guess that he stopped time to do that? Because it was just all happened so quickly that we really didn't
I think
ascertain.
it's one of those. She describes how everything slows down and like stops. So I mean, I feel like it was kind of obvious that that was definitely happening. And when she starts, she's like, I think she even says it, but like nobody down there actually confirms it because they're all like terrified
Yeah.
of her resetting time again.
Yeah, they're still keeping so much from her at this point,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is wild. With everything she's seen, especially Nemesine showing her all of the time she's
Mhm.
failed. I feel like if something's going to break you and fuck everything up, that's it. And then chapter 68, Hard Reset, that goes deeper into what we assumed happened right there, that everyone realizes and Kronos confirms what just happened was a time reset. And Lyra, she says, not a question. She just says, the point we reset to move forward. So for a very long time, the reset point was when Persephone was introduced into Tartarus. And so there is some significant thing that happened that this is now the reset point, which while it's a benefit, it's like, I see it as a benefit, right? Like if they
Yeah,
fuck up, it's
right.
not like we have to start over 150 years ago, but it's still like what happened? What, like, is this a bad thing? Is this a good thing?
So I have a theory about that, which I doubt they'll ever go into detail on, but like with her coming in with Boone, and so it's like a whole new like stream, right? And she's actively and consciously making the decision to go back and make all of those exact steps again. I think that's why time is like, okay, it doesn't matter what you do, we're going to leave it right here because you always go back and do the same thing over and over and over again. Even when I put you in a different time stream, whatever, a fate, destiny stream. I think maybe that was why.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
I hope we find out. We don't have a lot of book left, and I need closure on some of these things.
There's a whole nother book. So,
Yeah, I don't expect us to get any closure
That's
in this
true.
book.
None.
no.
But yeah, so they confirm that the reset moved us forward in time. And Kronos lets her know that sometimes when time resets, it doesn't go all the way back to the same moment it started from. And of course, they're kind of mad about it, but apparently it's a rare situation. So it's only happened 4 times where the reset started as a new point in time. And the last one, like I said, was Persephone. And Boone is still in this, like, I don't believe anything they're saying. kind of state. But Lyra's like, yeah, I saw all of this. Like I fully believe it. So just get over it. They're telling the truth. This is what life looks like for us right now. And that's when they decide, like, we're not going to go in the lock right now because Lyra just walked out of that lock assumingly with her head chopped off. And like this is not happening right now. So we kind of just have to make more plans before we get to move forward at this point.
I love how this chapter ended because it was very Steve Urkel. And when I read it, I even read it in his voice.
Did I give him that? Yeah. Lyra, she's like, oh
Loved
shit.
it.
Oh shit, that was me. But I'm thinking it's a good thing.
No,
do too.
absolutely.
I really like
They're more than
it's
halfway
nerve-wracking.
through. Like, this is a perfect spot to be stuck.
Yeah, we've been freaking terrified that there was going to be a reset. And
Yeah.
Ashley's going to just throw her book away if it happens.
Yeah.
Now there was
like,
one, but she
I
doesn't
think I
have
would have
to.
burned it. Like I would have
doesn't
gone
have to.
against my own soul. But I think like I would have agreed with her in all of her like, oh my God, did I do that? Like, what the hell? Why would I do like what did I do that caused that? If it would have reset to 150 years ago. But as soon as Rhea was like, no, we have a new starting time, I would have been like, oh sweet, did I do that? Like, hell yeah,
did
you're
that.
welcome.
That's me.
Like, and she's still just like worry wart central over here.
Well, and Rhea's
We got to get her a
little
therapist.
badass moment here too, where Boone like goes invisible and tries to jump off and go by himself, and she snatches him by the throat, and she's like, chill the fuck out. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
So
I
again,
don't-
tying
like, I'm
back
not
to
getting
how she
that.
can see Boone.
Yeah, why is he not grasping that like his super invisibility
Yeah.
powers don't work in front of her? Come on, dude. Yeah. That was pretty much it for that chapter though, unless you guys have anything to add.
No, that was the only other thing that I had highlighted.
Okay. And then chapter 69, Confessions. I'll admit I did not get notes taken down, but it's a quick chapter, so I won't read the whole thing, I promise. Lyra is like really sinking in like this is my fault. She says the questions echoing like the ghost of Christmas past. She wants to talk to Kronos about it and doesn't really get a chance to until they get to the safe room. So they get a chance to talk. This is where Kronos takes her off into a safe place, which we're like, what's gonna happen? She's like, scary as shit Titan. Like, if this has happened at the beginning, I'm like, I'm gonna get murdered right now. So yeah, so he takes her off and it was a funny interaction. The scariest shit Titan, so ominous. He's like, I was not ominous just now. So yeah, they go. She finally tells him that she thinks she's the reason things are different and that time did a hard reset. He's like, don't say anything else. And he sits on the ground, crisscross applesauce. And he tells her that he's going to change what she's seeing right now. We're not actually leaving, but we're going to be safe in this room. And let's see, he takes her to the ocean. She hears children's laughter and sea lions and barking is how the chapter ends. She feels safe and warm and comfortable with him. She never thought she would.
I do think it's interesting that like if he can do that, like why can't the others? Like it doesn't really feel like it's a time constraint type thing. So like
I think he's just
How is it
it's
the same?
glamored, right? That's how I'm seeing
no,
it.
they're
that he
like
just-
in his mind is how it sounded like he was explaining it.
Yeah.
Like they can converse and all of
Well,
that.
they
and
say like
yeah.
how he's the only one with this power. Like
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of gods will kill for this power.
There are heads of state who really wish they had that power. That's what she said. There are gods who
real.
wish they had this power, he says.
honestly, I wish I had that power as a kid. And like I could pick and choose, and then I would wait until we were all like in the living room and then like secretly be communicating with somebody, and then we both start laughing and the other two get pissed off. That would
Or
be
you're
awesome.
eating ice cream in San Francisco.
No,
No.
no.
Did y'all have anything else to add to that one? Okay. Okay, so then we have chapter 70, Put Your Hand in Mine. And Lyra realizes they're on Pier 39 along the wharf in San Francisco. So, like, back where she is, back where she's familiar with. And everything, like, all the smells are relative to her childhood and, like, growing up. And um, it's kind of just a perfect situation. There's no crowds. They go and get ice cream together, which I thought was really sweet. He must have like this way of just like this will calm somebody down. I don't know how many times they've done this
Mhm.
before, but ice cream, and then let's see.
Well, I think like by the time I got to the end of this chapter, like when he explains himself, I kind of felt like they hadn't necessarily done it before in this manner.
Maybe not. Yeah. Like this is kind of a new situation.
Yeah.
They have an interaction where she's trying to gather whether it usually takes her so long to trust them. And it always does. So she never trusts them any quicker than she has this time. I think that's just pretty true to herself. And she says it's a basic personality flaw, but it's just self preservation. She does not agree that she has, and Hades doesn't agree that she has. Cronus points out that hers tends to be overridden by a stronger instinct to help others, which we see this whole entire time. She throws self preservation out the window to help others. She goes on to explain what happened, even if he's heard it before, and goes into the specifics. And he just, what does he say? You have used time to set certain things in motion during your past visits to us, but not at the level you're describing. So she has taken it to another step this time, which, as we've seen, like this is our only time going through this with her. It has been beneficial. All these things that have been done differently, this time is actually pushing them through the locks. And he's just like, he puts a lot of trust in her. So he tells her, I think you should trust it. I don't think you did the wrong thing. And we'll keep going forward. He mentions that they're talking about other gods that can control time, like Zeus's youngest son. He decided to trust it. Trying to see what else I got. Sorry, I tried to get notes down, but Lila was not letting it happen. Lightning, thunder. She gets worried Zeus is there, but he is not. She gets sucked up by time at the end, right?
Well, like
No.
In the
he kind of
middle.
convinced her. He kind of
Okay.
convinces her
To just go. Okay, I'll let
Yeah.
us about it then, because that's like the gist of what happens, but I know there's some details I missed because I didn't write it down there. But yes, okay, the shimmering break just kind of is waiting for her, like they're starting to do, right?
Yeah.
And he encourages her to go to it. But she doesn't know where she is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
A couple things. Let's see. He tells her that she has used time to set certain things in motion during her past visits with them as well.
But yeah, just not at the level that she's describing now. So it's always she's done it, but
Yeah.
not like this big time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then
But
obviously
she does
finding
say
out.
he does on that same part. He says it was little things in your previous lives, but if someone is manipulating my broken time, which is a new twist, that at least tells me that you should trust it. And then they talk about like without knowing who is sending me. So she's still questioning like, is she doing it or is there somebody else involved?
Right.
Well, and when he said that, it kind of made me think like he's been around for literally almost since the beginning of time. And so anybody that has the ability to manipulate time the way she's expressing that she thinks it's happening, like he would know who that would be. Or it's got to be someone that doesn't exist yet in that capacity, which is only her and Boone. So I'm assuming that's why. And he's like, you should just trust it.
Yeah. But
What
what else
either
can
knows exactly who it is or it's her.
because if they did try to do a hard reset, like this is it now, it seems, right?
Yeah.
Luckily things have gone
Which means
okay
Boone
so far.
is permanently in the mix.
There's no
Which I was curious about that. If like time reset, if he was going to be part of it again, or if that was like a one-off. But
I think
he's clearly part of
they
it.
would have the ability to pull those strings and make it happen as much as they could, like
They
have
don't
in
know
the
why
past.
he's there.
Yeah, because they have faded lines.
Yeah. Another thing I highlighted is Kronos says, I trust you, daughter, to her. And I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, and he says he always loved being a father and he misses it. And he
Yeah.
just wanted to give her happy memories that she craved and remember for himself what it felt like to be a father
Yeah.
with a daughter, even just for a second.
I really like Kronos.
I do too. And I was so scared of him whenever
Honestly,
I
I
was
kind of liked him
this
before
guy's
I
gonna be
realized
the
he was nice.
worst
I'm not
at the end
gonna
of
lie.
last book. But I don't know. He's a lot different than he was portrayed, which is good. Because Leroy would be dead most likely if he was not. Okay.
I just thought of something because I was looking at like the very last part of the chapter
Well, we're not
where
finished,
it says
right?
Hades listen to me. Huh?
Were you finished with the chapter, Christy?
I didn't finish the last bit, but Ashley can say anything.
Oh, no, I thought we already finished it.
I
There's a
realized
fourth.
that either because where Lyra gets taken, she realizes she is in Zeus's temple, but she doesn't know when. It's either when she was born when she got cursed, or it was the first day she met Hades. And there's not enough people there because it was open to the public the day she was born. So she realizes it is whenever she first meets Hades. And she watches him see her, that he listened to her, even though he was so hateful to her that last interaction. And she's like, what she say? Somehow that makes what I'm about to put him through, as well as myself, even worse, which is something I feel like he said to her. The roles are reversed. Like there was a point where he's like, everything I'm going to put you through, like, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
But she was the driver the whole time. Um, yeah, so she gets to see that. She just watches and votes. So yes, go ahead, Ashley. My next chapter.
So I was thinking with the way, and it might have just been because of the way like I glanced over it, your subconscious, like, anyways. So when it says Hades listened to me, what if it's not necessarily so the reset of resets? What if it's not her decision? It was she finally said something the exact way that Hades made the decision and listened to her on some tiny little aspect or whatever, and he's the one that caused the new reset. Do you follow what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say?
like that, however he handled the information she gave him,
Right.
maybe was different than last time, or was
And
something
like
critical.
he did something that was absolutely like you don't go back from that.
But it would have been something that like is in the reality that we're in, right?
Or it could have been something like so small and minuscule that the present hasn't felt the repercussions of it. So like she wouldn't have felt a difference
Yeah,
because if she went back this time around.
that'll be interesting if something like that plays out. Like that her past since the crucible somehow gets changed because of something like that, a ripple.
That's why you don't fuck with time.
Do we have anything else to add with that chapter?
He did shit.
And that's how the recording starts, everyone.
Oh my gosh. Did you guys hear that? I felt amazing.
No, I didn't hear your pops, but now I need to pop mine. Chapter 71 is a long chapter. We get a Hades perspective, though. So, we have not ever gotten this perspective of Hades.
I loved this chapter.
Lyra's first meeting with Hades. So once upon a time, this is their the beginning of their love story, right? And he goes into like, I've waited 150 years for this strange moment with not a lot to go on. So just blindly trusting Lyra, even though he feels so burned by her so many times, trying to trust somebody he's trying to forget.
It's been 150 years since their last encounter.
Yeah,
and he was pissed at her then
for
that
and trying to
bitterness.
yeah. I don't think it festered though. Like it's not, you would think that he would just, if it had been that bad, if he was really giving up on her, he wouldn't have listened at that point.
Yeah.
Here he is outside of Zeus's temple. The first night of the current crucible. And he's just like talking about how Zeus is an asshole because of all the lightning. He has no proof still that whatever Lyra told him about Persephone being in Tartarus is true. He's just blindly trusting her. And he turns around to leave, and that's when he sees somebody going to like throw a rock right at the farthest end of their temple. But he can only make out a profile. He has no idea who it is. He's describing Lyra, but he doesn't realize he's describing Lyra. And yeah, so she is going to take that rock and throw it. And that's when when we first met him, he stops her. He's like, I don't think so. And she just, her stubborn self, like, you're not going to do it. Like, or just let me go. Like, you don't need to be touching me. He doesn't want to deal with Zeus. And so we get, so the verbiage is all the same, but we get his, like, how he's feeling. Like, this woman's reacting to me a lot differently than I thought she would. She reminds me of someone. She kind of makes him chuckle a little bit. And let's see, she tells him about the curse. And I don't know how you guys felt about this part, but he's like, I just don't know how this could be real, this curse. He's like, I don't feel like this girl is unlovable. Why would Lyra send me a cursed human as a champion? That's weird. Shouldn't I feel nothing if she's cursed to be unlovable? So maybe we're still going to find out more about what the curse actually is. Finally, she steps away a little bit and turns around. And he is like, this is Lyra. Why is Lyra? I said, Lyra, what in the name of the evils of Tartarus is she doing here? Is she just fucking with me now somehow? And yeah, so he's trying to take that in. And we now know why he knew her name.
That's true.
This is Lyra's
I didn't think
beginning.
about that.
And she says, my Lyra must be from a future I have still yet to reach. This is Lyra's future now, too. So he's realizing where they are in time and how he still hasn't met his queen at this point. He doesn't even know it's his queen, but the Lyra that's been coming to him since he was a child. Let's see. He's really upset about it, which he held, like in our interaction, he handled all of this really well, this internal turmoil that he was going through, because he's been trying to push Lyra away. And now he has a moral version of this woman who he's never stopped thinking about, that he's got to get through the crucible and keep her alive. And then think, what else we got? It's a long chapter, so I'm just trying to go through it.
I mean, it was basically the first ever chapter all over again. Like,
it is, yeah. You, my
Yeah.
star, you're the reason that he's here. But he says it internally, like, why are you here, the crucible? He's like, I have my own reasons, which, when we first heard him say that, it was like, yeah, he's just trying to find somebody to smite, essentially. But nope, you are the reason in every single way. You can't even grasp it. And let's see.
Well, and I guess a couple things before we keep going that
Now, please.
I
I
had
didn't realize how long the
highlighted.
chapter was.
So before he even finds out that it's her, he says how he like relaxes with her. How she's talking and then finally she like leans back into him and he relaxes in there and sinks somehow. And then he makes another comment how, she could win a few hearts but not his because he gave his a long time away, which I just thought,
Jokes on
yeah.
him.
Again, like getting his actual perspective and just like how in love he is with her and how different his life is because of meeting her from the current but yet past yet future.
I feel, was it the last section? I think it was the last section where Kronos is saying that all the Titans have a fated mate, essentially. Pretty much every section we read, I feel stronger that Lyra and Hades are that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's never said it. It didn't really talk about like fated mates or anything until then. But the fact that they just are so in tune with each other when one of them doesn't know the other, and they just fall back into that, even if it was falling back in only for one of them. That they're part of each other, and they have been from the beginning.
Yeah. No, I love it. I just love getting his perspective and like how in love he is with her.
Ooh, maybe we find that out
Makes
because if
sense.
Phoebe knows that Boone and Lyra are fated in some aspects, she's had to have seen if she and Hades are as well.
Maybe, but I mean, those are also selective, right? Like, she doesn't get to choose what she sees. So
No, but
maybe
I feel like because she's the one that had the prophecy of them, like, you know what I mean?
I can't remember the exact prophecy now. I just know
Well, it's
Lyra.
because they haven't told us the whole prophecy yet.
That's true. That's true. Let's see. He gets pissed again. We get to see his side of how mad he is that Zeus cursed her. Because we did not get to see his reaction to that
It's
before.
like the fuck he did.
Yeah, like so mad. What did she say? He struggles a little bit because he was trying to push her away so much because he never knew when she was going to come back. And now she is this tangible fixture that he can see. And she maybe not maybe she won't just disappear. What does he say? She's real. She won't disappear on me. That wasn't an option I considered when I made my Lyra's off fucking limits rules. What I want to do is swoop her and run and spend an inordinate amount of time making sure she smells like me and not like my damnable brother. So he hasn't even spent that kind of time with Lyra.
No.
And this is how he's feeling. So this was honestly like, it had to have been a relief to him in some way. Like, he's scared, he's nervous, but he's like, this is where my time with her starts. And he's not wrong. This is their story now.
She missed the possessive side of Hades. Like, we haven't seen him all book, really.
We saw a little bit with AI Hades, but it's not the
Yeah.
same.
But not really.
Not the same. Let's see. Yep, they did their like separation like they did before. She's surprised he lets her go just like that. He's just thinking about what she's gonna taste like. knows she's gonna hate him for a while because he's choosing her as his champion. Let's see. He calls her my star again. If he only knew. And that is, let's see. She's gone, and then he sees Lyra, his Lyra, he says, on the hill with her hair up. He can tell she looks different. She looks older. She's in the
Well, and right
tracksuit and she's
before
seeing
that too, he's like deciding like he's not gonna do it. Like
Yeah.
he's not gonna make
True.
Lyra. He's like, I can't do this to her. I'll find another way.
Which again would have been so fucking annoying.
Well, yeah, but that's the important part because that's like right when he sees her.
Yeah, he does. He says, it hits me that technically we met around the same age, although now that she's a goddess, who knows how far into the future she was when she traveled back in time to me. Don't do this to her. I promised myself I would never drag her into my world, into my hells. We're too dangerous together. Tinder and fire set to go off and take the world down with us. I can't do it. I won't do it to her or to me, even if future her told me so. And I'll find another way to get Persephone out. So this part is still about getting Persephone out. There's no more depth to it. And I think seeing Lyra, real Lyra, and she just words trust me before she disappears. And he's like, well, I'm screwed now.
Yeah, I think this was the part where I finally realized like he was actually being honest. Like he was honest to God trying to get Persephone out the entire first book. Like that was legit. No subterfuge. Like that was what he was trying to do.
We did not know what was driving his little like back and forth, like weird situations, but he was not messing around. It was really, that's what he was trying to do. But yeah, that was the end of my section, I believe, through 71.
So 72 starts off. It's time warping back to Kronos. And then as soon as she gets there, he's like, were you able to confirm your theories? And she's like, yeah, and then immediately travels again. So now she's in the water garden with Hades right after the first time she traveled in the book where she had just got to Tartarus and she kissed Hades thinking it was the real Hades and all confused or whatnot. So now she's right back in that same scene just right after that happened. Hades is like mid-sin. It's like, Lyra, I can't do this. And she's realizing like this is where Isabel dies in the Crucible, which was a huge thing for her in the first book where she was really distraught the first time someone died in the Crucible. So her instincts are to save her. So she kind of like pushes Hades like as much information as she can, like go save Isabel. I'll be here when you get back. So he shuts her into his room, and then puts Cerberus on guard. And then she's like missing Cerberus and like I wish I could just go out and like put my face in his fur. And then she's just kind of running through like what's happening in her past Lyra's life right now and remembering that Hades comes back here after he leaves her in the Crucible, which she was obviously upset about at the time. So she's like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and wait for him. And then she gets this weird feeling again, like she did when the Lyra came out of Hera's lock and died. So she's feeling the time reset again. So she's back in Tartarus, and her and Boone are like, what happened? But they remember everything still. And she tells them it's because of her time reset because she tried to save Isabel.
Yeah. So time out. When I was reading this, all I could think about was she had the whole thought as she was going through all of her past lives or whatever with Nimosine that never, ever does Isabel, like in any time that Isabel made it, does she make it. Like it always resets if Isabel is there. So like this whole like, I've got to save her, whatever. I'm just, like, I don't understand it. Really?
So she mentions that she doesn't remember seeing a time where she's tried to get Hades to save her. So I think she was trying to find like a loophole in it to change it.
Yeah.
And then just got kind of obsessed with it because the reset let her,
That's fair. But yeah.
So at the beginning, Krona said, did you pull a string? And she says, more like I confirmed that the string I pulled worked. And he said, and you came back to me now, you came back to now rather than resetting. I think you might be. And then we never got to hear what he was going to say. What do we think he was going to say?
Honestly, I forgot about that. I read this a week ago, guys.
That's true. I went to read it because I was ready to do our last one, but then I stopped. But I'm curious what he was going to say. I think she might be like onto something, or she might be the goddess of something, or I hope it comes. I marked
especially
it,
with her
if you remember.
last revelations in the cupboard, like room that they were in.
Yeah. I don't know.
A good catch.
There wasn't too much more in this one, right?
I didn't think so. It was a pretty short chapter. Oh, 73 for the upteenth time. So it just goes into they are constantly resetting time. She thinks it's like about 100 times now. She's just going about every possible way to save Isabel. She's like, I send Hades, I go up there myself, all of these things, and it just keeps resetting. So she finally accepts that she can't save her. They say something, with Cronus, like you need to figure out for yourself and like accept it for yourself because he said something like he knew like it wasn't gonna be possible.
Yeah, I liked that he let her figure it out on his own. He wasn't like, stop, this is like way too many times. This is annoying. He has stuff to do. He
Didn't
let her
they
come
say
to
they were going to give her like 100 attempts or something, and she finally gave up?
Yeah.
Midway
You're
through
about
somewhere.
75.
Yeah.
So she finally accepts that it's not going to happen. So she goes through the time back to Hades, and she just tells Hades, go be with Lyra. Something bad's going to happen. She's going to need you. I will wait for you. Take me to your room. What she does. And after a while, he comes back. He doesn't come inside. He's just like sitting in a doorway. And he confirms like your future Lyra. He wonders like why she's doing this to herself. Like why is she putting herself through this, being in the crucible? And she's just like, I can't tell you, but it has to be this way. And just reiterates he has to trust her. This is the only way. And her herself is proof that things go okay, even if it hurts. And then Haley leaves.
Yeah.
So again, another short, quick chapter.
Yeah. I pointed out, so when Kronos was talking to her about, her coming to that conclusion, he said that some truths have to be felt so deeply to sink in as truth that the only way to learn them is through your own experience. And now she's realizing like, I can't go back and change anything, but they wouldn't tell her that. Nothing is going to be fixed. So she has to let that sink back in all over again. And then she and Hades have a conversation like, so you're the future of her. And she's like, who cares if time resets? Yes, I'm from the future. So hopefully that will help with her not having like convince him so much, because she's finally just admitted like, I'm traveling from future me and you need to listen to me because obviously I got there some way. Let's see. They talk more about that she's going to win the crucible, even though it looks like she won't sometimes. He's going to be king of the gods. He's going to get Pandora's box. But he has to listen to her for all of that to happen. And what does she say? Hopefully a future version of Cronus is sending this version of me back to his son over and over. And that future Cronus is out of Tartarus. He must be. That's all I got. I liked that chapter.
Yeah.
The upcoming ones. Because I have some
74,
theories.
74 from time to time. So she's just still waiting for Hades, and time comes in to take her, which this is the first time that she's in time, and then time comes and takes her to a different time. So, and she like has the bed sheet with her. And she winds up in a cave, and she's like, where the hell am I? And she's like looking around, and she's like this elaborate space that she finds, and she sees Oceanus, and he's just like not bothered. It doesn't sound like he's like cooking his dinner, eating his dinner, and he's like, oh, here you are.
He's
Does
like,
he has this?
Yeah.
oh, welcome to my sea cave. Here's my
Being a
job.
total Chad.
Yeah, no reaction, no freak out, no like, how did you find me? Who are you? Nothing. He's just like, what's up?
It's very telling.
And they're talking a little bit. He reveals that he has a source to know what's going on in Tartarus, and that he sees the time warp coming behind her. and says, "Time's up, little goddess." So not only does he see the time warp, but again, calls her a goddess. And again, kind of reiterating this is not the first time they've probably seen
That's
each
true,
other.
because Hades doesn't ever see them coming. Nobody
Mm-mm.
else can ever see them. That's a good point.
Well, it might be a Titans thing. Like,
Or
Yeah.
maybe it's a sea tunnel leading to
Titans are-
Tartarus with a secret back door.
that's true.
This interaction was like super sarcastic. I
Yeah.
guess I'm alive, living like a king.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Your siblings miss you. You went too far with that. They don't miss me. They curse my
Yeah.
name.
And like the whole interaction, I still haven't, like, I've thought about it a couple times this week. I can't put my finger on it, but I feel like I've seen, like, how I'm taking it. Like, I've seen this in a movie, like, not this exactly, but basically, probably just
Mhm.
other words, but like some Titan or Olympian having a very much like entitled bullshit, like, yes, ha 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 type, whatever.
I didn't even catch that he
But-
said, "Enter if you dare," to her.
He's just a pompous little prick.
I think he's a weirdo. I don't like him.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, he is the grade A of just slime.
It kind of reminds me of the Grinch. Like he's like hiding away in a cave. And
do you
Using some
not?
glass, crunching
like
on
the
some
Grinch.
onions.
Yeah.
Not,
The
okay,
Grinch
you
was
know.
done wrong.
Okay, I love the Grinch as well, but I'm also seeing a pantless man doing weird things in a cave and Cindy Lou Who happening upon him and being like,
Mhm.
this is weird.
Okay, but the Grinch didn't have his dingleberries hanging out. So
He doesn't wear pants, Ashley. He doesn't wear pants.
He doesn't
But he
have
has
hair,
hair.
so he doesn't need pants.
Anyway.
So moving on to chapter 74. From time to
Hannah
time.
doesn't like talking about dingleberries.
So she's
All right.
still
Did you talk about how
no, I'm
they
in 75.
realize
I
that
was like, hold on.
Oceanus can get into Tartarus is what she says. She tells.
Yeah, it pops her back, and she yells at Cerberus.
Not in that chapter yet.
No, it's the end of that chapter.
It's the same one.
I haven't finished the chapter. Yeah,
Oh,
I haven't finished the
Oh,
chapter.
okay.
Okay, proceed.
Yeah, he sees a time warp and says, "Time's
If
up,
you
little
don't.
goddess." That's where we left.
Gotcha.
So then Lyra pops back into Hades' room. And yeah, she's like, "Okay, I need Hades now." And she like changes her voice, all high pitched, to talk to Cerberus because she doesn't want him to recognize her voice, obviously, to go get him, and basically threatens him, like, "I can go do it myself, and then you're gonna have to deal with him." And like counts down 5, 4, 3, 2, and he disappears. Hades comes back and
I
he's
was
like, "You
picturing
summoned."
Sebastian with 3 heads through this whole interaction. By the way,
It would be the cutest ever.
I was picturing Sebastian with 3 heads through the
He
whole.
does look like Fluffy from
Mhm.
the
Yeah, like-
Sorcerer's Stone. Sebastian does look like Fluffy, but he's
Yeah.
cuter.
Hannah would love it.
So yeah, he's like, "You summoned," and immediately she starts seeing a time warp behind him coming up, and she's like, "Shit, I need to get this out quickly." She like explodes and tells him about Oceanus and that, you know, he's the one glamoring everything, and then she realizes that she tells what she's talking to him about is something she told him in the future of where she's at now. And she's like, "Crap." And then so she is like, "Oceanus has a source in Tartarus. And you need, like, promise me you'll look into this." And he's like, "Yeah, on top of all my time with like getting you through the crucible, being the god of the underworld, yeah, I'll definitely go do that." She's like, "Well, just promise me that you'll do it after the crucible." And he's like, "I promise," which I'm like, okay, is that what he's doing right now? Maybe
Well,
he
and
finally
he had-
remembers.
Well, and he even, she tells him Oceanus can get into Tartarus. And he's like, he doesn't have enough power. Like,
Mm-hmm.
who?
Because
They built-
she says, then he's fooled a lot of people. He says and she's like, oh shit, I almost just gave away that I'm stuck in Tartarus. Because he
Yeah.
doesn't know she's in Tartarus. That would change
Yeah.
a lot. Or be
Yeah.
that would be a really bad mess up.
You know,
Yeah.
like, time would reset definitely, because there's no way he would pluck her from the crucible and like hide her from the demons so quickly.
He
Mhm.
would do everything in his power to make sure that never happened.
Yeah.
And she can't let that happen.
Oh yeah.
I loved the part where she's like talking about the glam ring. She's like, "Oh shit, that was a different me in the future." The time,
Like
time
she's starting to get
hops.
confused now.
Yeah, like I'm
She
having
needs
a
a
hard time keeping
diary.
the time down. So,
Yeah.
but
Real.
would it stay up to date?
Well, her timeline.
Oh,
How
that's
would
a
she
good
keep it
question.
inside?
If it stayed in Tartarus,
Hades, I'm sorry. I know I just got here, but what's today? I'm trying to keep things
Yeah.
straight in my diary.
yeah. Can you give me the date and time, please?
What is the situation here? Oh, wait, my time crack's coming. Speed it up.
Let me reset.
She just hears a harumph, like kind of on the other side of the door, and he's gone. Oh, so
75 souls. So time comes back for her and doesn't drop her back where she was in that room with Kronos, but instead she is in front of Hades' lock. And she calls for him and
Honestly, from
immediately
this point is where it gets interesting for
All
the
right
rest
now.
of the section.
yeah, so she calls Hades and he like immediately opens the door. So it's like he definitely was just waiting for her. It seemed like he's like, "So you're alive?" And then she's kind of replaying and again going back to where her future self died and he's like screaming her name and she's just been resetting time this whole time. So um she's realizing like that's the last like memory he has. Um and they're talking and he goes to step for her and then disappears and the door slams shut. And then Demeter is in the background and was like, well, that was careless of him. So they have a little shitty chat. She explains if they cross the barrier, they have to regenerate, which takes a lot of time. And she's explaining that they left pieces of their souls in these versions of themselves. So it's not just a recording or a trick, it's actually them. It's just a piece of them. Like we theorized. Hira's is like glitchy because she died
Yeah.
in the real world. So she's just dead and it just like repeating the glitchiness that we experience in the first part of the book.
That Demeter had the audacity to say, "Didn't they tell you?" Literally, nobody has told Lyra anything this whole time. Who would have told her that? Come on.
So she's explaining that they can feel their, I guess, in person when their emotions are heightened. So they can feel it down there still. Let's see. Lyra tells Demeter, or is like talking about them being lonely, but they have each other because they're able to go back and forth between the locks. And Demeter's like, how'd you know that? And she's like, well, because Hades came to me and yours and helped me get out. And she was like, that stupid cheater, and was like freaking out and upset. And then she leaves. And then the chapter ends with her hearing somebody running for her, and it's Boone.
That she calls him a squirrely cheater. Like I giggled at that when I read it.
That squirrely cheater.
Like I'm gonna start calling people that. Like at Christmas when Jonathan cheats at whatever game we're playing. You squirrely cheater.
I mean, it's really true to his nature, though, because that's how he was. He like finds the ways around the rules. It's part of why we love him.
Jonathan or Hades?
Oh, Hades. No, he's just a little shit.
Okay.
He's a squirrely shit.
Yeah. I call her a raccoon more than a squirrel.
I like raccoons.
I do too, but
Yeah, that's true, actually. He kind of is a raccoon.
So Boone confirms that she's been gone for an entire week. And then in Lyra fashion, she's feeling bad. She's like, oh, they've been waiting around for me and I've, been gone.
They've been around for a couple millennia. I think a week is fine.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, okay, that's why time didn't drop me back with Kronos because he's obviously not there anymore. Boone says nothing happened while she was gone. They wouldn't let him do anything to risk, him as well because we still haven't figured out his importance yet. He does confirm the pandemonium did come once and they've like relocated their base. And then as they're talking, the pandemonium bell rings. So Boone goes one way, Lyra goes another, and Lyra explains like I have a faster route to one of the glamour doors. So they take off towards that. They get in, they kind of hesitate for a second, but they're like, whatever's in there is safest out safer than what's out here. So they go inside, they think it's empty, and then they hear a voice. They describe it as like a song. And it turns out to be Medusa. And they both whip back around at the same time before they can be turned into stone.
It can't be. I definitely saw snakes. I like that she's like, when they said Medusa, I would clap if I still had my hands.
Like, I love her.
Wild. What is going on down here?
So yeah, y'all will have to throw in the book comments because her responses and just like her chat was awesome.
Yeah. Visitors, I'm honored.
Yeah. So, chapter 77, Gorgon, just starts off with Medusa really just elaborating how she hates men. She's like, Boone tries to talk to her, and she's like, don't talk to me, only her.
You may not speak to me, only her.
And, Lyra's just like, I'm not going to risk it. Like, she's not here to harm me, too. So she just keeps with it. She is only a head and a wall. She doesn't have her body. So that's what Gorgon, I guess, is, or they're saying it's like hard to kill and they can survive without their body. A Gorgon can.
I like, Lyra goes, how are you even alive? I mean, just
Yeah.
so sensitive, Lyra. So sensitive. Is it indelicate to point out that she's only a head?
So
Well,
then
I think
Medusa like curses Athena, and she's like, that bitch, my former best friend. So Athena gets brought
Which
up.
nobody realized that they were besties. Like, that's not part of the
Mhm.
lore. Just
Well-
another reason to call Athena a bitch, or what is she, a monster? Yeah, she
Monster
called her a
3
monster.
times. I mean, that makes me not like Medusa, though. She was friends with Athena. I'm like,
Oh,
I don't trust this bitch.
Well,
She
she's
didn't know.
surprised that this happened. So I
This
think
is
it
true.
makes Athena worse because she was obviously being fake.
Clearly.
So Lyra's explaining, she was rumored that Perseus threw her head in the ocean after using her, or that Athena put her into this shield, which Samuel had in the crucible. She's like, I've seen that shield, and that's not the truth. And she's like, actually, it was true. And I pretended to be dead. They both used the shields, but she cannot remember how she made it down here.
Sounds familiar.
Right, which they connect that Persephone also does not remember how she got down here. Then Medusa says how Rhea comes to talk with her, which I found very interesting. Very interesting.
I find
and
it
then
more
Lyra-
interesting that when Lyra brought up the first door that was glamored that they supposedly couldn't see, that
They're all
Rhea
shocked.
can't supposedly see it.
Right? She can see through Boone's invisibility, so
And she could see Medusa's glamour door.
But she's obviously hiding it because they were all shocked about these doors and they had no idea about them.
what? Never.
She glamored the door when she discovered Medusa,
Maybe she
And
did
then-
do the glamoring.
because whoever the glamorer is can see it. But very interesting that nobody else would say anything. Like, oh, there was a door here. Where's Medusa's door? It just disappeared. Just saying.
Yep. So
I'm like, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. So Rhea, she confirms Rhea's coming to talk to her. Lyra, in Lyra fashion, is like, Medusa was wronged. She was betrayed. We need to do something to save her. Or she offers to help her, and she
She's not wrong.
calls Athena a bitch, and Medusa like, only I'm allowed to call her that. So that was also
My
interesting.
bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't let people talk shit about you guys, even if I did hate you, like to the point like I'd
That's
still
a
be like,
different
hey,
kind
no.
of hate, though. Like, if somebody put me on a wall with just my head,
head on
like,
the
we're
wall.
done.
That's not
The
even
whole
like
world should hate
I have
you.
a limit.
that pales in comparison to what she did to her to make her a Gorgon.
Well, exactly. So I'm like, why does she care if someone's bad mouthing her?
Because gods and their whatever plebes are all crazy.
So yeah. And Medusa mentions that she knows about the locks. Rhea's been keeping her informed. So she's visiting very often. Lyra also internally is remembering how Rhea can see Boone when he goes invisible, and maybe that has something to do with her being able to see through the door. We don't really go further into any theories here, which I found interesting between like Boone and Lyra, that they didn't dissect that a bit more. So I'll be
They did have
interested
the
to see.
conversation that maybe Rhea is Oceanus' source down there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw her face when Hades came to take her to Tartarus. She was devastated, but does she have a part in all this that she can't see? And then Boone says, what if we can bring things here from the future when we're in broken time? And she's like, I don't think so. He says, your axe. So they're like, oh my God, what if we can? Is it possible? Who did it? How did that person get here? How did that person get here? Why would they do that? So it just posed more questions for us.
And that was the end of my section.
Well, I do want to pose the query.
Have fun. So
If Rhea has been keeping Medusa up to date on everything, imagine the wealth of knowledge that Medusa has.
she has only been there for centuries, though. I mean, she's not been there for
Centuries that she remembers. Who knows what time she got there and how many resets there have been.
maybe. She just says,
maybe
I've
she
known
doesn't
only these wells
recognize.
for centuries now. Because
Which
that was
means
like
she's been through quite a few
point.
resets then too. Just throwing that out there. Okay, hold on. I got a split screen.
Did we go into the fact that they are going to get Medusa out of the wall and take her somewhere else? And they talked about maybe Asclepius could regenerate her body, or Hephaestus could create her a new autom-
So
Remember, I thought they said automation.
I do foresee them utilizing her as a weapon somehow
For
in
sure.
Aphrodite's lock. Like I feel like
Yes,
Medusa
yeah.
is going to be that missing piece with the two of them and Medusa.
Maybe.
I'm
I
just
think
saying.
so too.
But also, so we don't know how Persephone or Medusa got there, but I have a feeling it was probably Lyra for whatever
Right.
reason, which means in this amount of book, we might see her steal them. Like there may be a time warp where she goes to the bottom of the ocean somehow to get Medusa's head where Perseus dropped it after the Kraken.
I feel like, honestly, we're looking at book 3.
And it's
I
like
will say,
nothing is
like-
going to happen in the next 2 sections.
Well,
Nothing.
just like
There's a lot
the
to wrap
first book, like this book is explaining the first book. And I think the third book is going to explain, maybe it's entirely in Hades' perspective.
I
don't
think
know.
they've got to save the planet somehow.
I mean, we're going to find stuff out for sure, but like we're not getting much. There's a
Unless
lot
it's just
still
like
to
bam,
figure out.
bam, bam.
We're going to have to wait so long.
We're good. There's definitely like book 3 is gonna be a lot of uncovering of this one.
But if it's like,
I hope so.
or she changes her mind and decides it's going to be a whole fucking series because it can't fit it all in a trilogy.
Yeah.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah.
Yes, madame.
So I'm going to summarize 78 and 9 together because they're kind of the same thing. Okay, 78 and 9, we start in Hera's Lock, and this is for the 23rd time that they have done Hera's Lock, straight from the beginning. And apparently they have died an excruciating and creative death every single time. One of them has died, and they keep resetting. And they actually even tell Hera, like, okay, skip the rules. We know we've been through this already. Like, let's just get on with it. And we come in and they're on one of those really cool ships that has all the oars, but they don't need all the people. It's being oared magically. And Boone is at the helm and she's up, where you always see the little mermaid. And she has roped herself to it just tight enough that she won't fall off, but she can kind of see side to side because she's waiting for a break in the clouds because the goal is to hit land by following Cassiopeia. And anytime they get off course, even marginally, a monster of some kind will attack. And all the monsters are different in each time. Like sometimes she repeats, but it's never exactly the same when they go in. And Lyra has this bright idea that we don't know until closer to the end of the lock, but there's always one monster that is always the same and is always there no matter what. And it is like the big ass Moby Dick Narwhal or Narwhal, however you say it.
Narwhal, yeah.
Narwhal. With the
Narwhal.
huge unicorn tusk. And so basically we find out that her idea is to almost capsize the boat, but instead she makes it to where if they time it perfectly, they're going to impale the boat or ship, whatever they're called, on the narwhal's tusk. And that dude is going to take on land ho all the way to the little lighthouse. And it absolutely works, surprisingly. They almost drown a couple of times, but Boone she keeps bringing up how strong Boone is, which I didn't really ever think about until like the third time he lifts both of them out of the water and was like holding them. Like, and I just see her like a drowned rat, just like,
He manhandles her quite a bit, I'm thinking.
Yeah. She's just like a backpack.
yeah. Good thing she's shorter and lighter in this lifetime.
Yeah.
I just pictured Boone and Dora the Explorer close.
I'm here for it.
Backpack.
Yes. So that's 78 and 9. Anybody want to add any filler content?
Are you going to close up 79? Because that's like they beat the lock.
They beat it.
So what we
I said it worked.
Well, Hera's lock, the whole thing, right? It was a child, right? They thought there was going to be childbirth involved or something, but they realized like when they get to this lighthouse, the last part of it, there's not childbirth, but there is like a child
baby
bear,
Zeus.
a childlike version of Zeus in there with the white blonde hair and the lightning whispering over his skin. The creepy kid, here he is, and she swims harder because she realizes that if he shocks the water, she's done for. All she had to do was touch the rock below the surface, and everything kind of went away, like it had in Demeter's lock. Things just disappear as soon as she defeats it. Boone says that her plan sucked, but it worked. So the childlike version of Zeus, is that like, do they have a child that also wields lightning, or is that some kind of weird thing with him and Hera? Her loving baby Zeus. Do we know?
Maybe one of the sons looks like him, but I don't know if he has the same powers.
Yeah.
But she was there when he was a baby. Remember their brother sister?
Yeah, I know. Stop.
I mean, there were probably only like 20 people in the cosmos. So, I mean, slim pickings. But I don't know.
am glad you went through that like relatively quickly because it was a lot. Like navigating all the monsters.
I didn't
and how many
enjoy that
times they
walk.
had made through it. That was an intense lock. For them to have gotten, like this time around, they've gotten through all of the other ones on the first try.
Mhm.
And then it took them that many times to get through this one.
Yeah.
Thank God they didn't have to do that 23 times with a 150-year reset.
You
Yeah.
probably have, though.
Yeah.
And the only other thing, it ends with Iapetus, like, about fucking time. And she's like, maybe for the first time ever, I grin at him.
Like, he was still being an asshole, but now it's endearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. So, chapter 80. So, it starts with Phoebe waking Lyra and telling her, follow me. And they creep out, essentially. And then she realizes that she must have also woken Boone because he's there and going with the drift. And they come up against the time warp, and Phoebe tells them, like, yeah, sometimes I can feel them, which is interesting, but whatever. And out pops Persephone, being the little sneak. She wants to go with them because their plan is for both of them, apparently, to jump through this time warp, which they have yet to do. So I'm not really sure where this plan came from.
But I think it's going to work.
Yeah. And so Persephone's like, I'm coming with you. And Lyra's trying to be polite about it to whatever extent. She's like, you've never been in like any of these little time skips, and like Hades can't see you. Like, it's not a good idea. Like, you can't come. I'm sorry. And Boone's like, yeah, the fuck not. You're not going. And so she finally is like, okay, fine. And Boone and Lyra go to jump through the time warp. And she hears Boone grunt, and then all of a sudden she has time warped alone.
I picture he like hit a wall and was just like, oh,
Yeah.
Right.
rejected.
It's like, nope, not you, sorry.
Yeah.
And she lands right outside her and Hades' bedroom, or I guess at this time, Hades' bedroom. And she realizes that this is the night just after they had first slept together. And he's like, all like cuddling her and all this. And she's like, I didn't ever realize that. Like, this sucks even more.
Here, when I was reading this, she's like, the fuck not? I don't get to cuddle him. You don't get to cuddle.
I'm honestly, like, the fact, like, this dynamic is so weird. Like, how is she not jealous of herself to some extent? Like,
she has to be.
I would think so. And she realizes that this is the part that she's been dreading. And she knows for a fact now that she's the one, absolutely, without a doubt, that tells Hades to break her heart. And now she has to figure out how she's going to wake him without her past self seeing her. And she basically does the, Mission Impossible. I just see her like slithering on the floor around to Hades' side of the bed. And she's just like laying next to the bed, like, okay, now, now what do I do? How do I wake him? Like, first off, how did I get here without waking Hades? Which is a very valid point. He's very ninja. So I don't know. But she's like, I've got to come up with a way to grab him that when I port, he's not gonna like fling me off, or I'm not gonna lose him or whatever. And she finally starts to like reach up and grab him, and turns out Hades was probably awake the whole time because he ports them out. Like, just like, I imagine he's like spins her around and grabs her from behind, and he's like, I do love what he says. He says, you dare come anywhere near what is mine. I even wrote in the margin, like, yeah, I missed this possessive Hades this whole time. And that's how the chapter ends. So, like, he doesn't realize it's Lyra.
Yeah.
Anybody want to add anything? Your face looked like you did earlier, Christy.
It just made me laugh really hard at the beginning when Lyra's just like really trying to be asleep. And Phoebe's just like, oh, good, you're awake. She's like, I'm going to fuck awake. You woke me up. No, that's what I was chuckling. I was going to keep it to myself, but that part made me laugh a lot.
It reminded me.
Well, I am
I
now.
will say, like, that part did remind me of Friends Phoebe. Like, she would have been exactly like that. Oh, great, you're awake. Like,
She even she compared Medusa to Persephone. Not this. I was like, because I know she compared somebody with being bubbly, and she compared them to Persephone, but it's Medusa. No, that was all I had. That made me chuckle.
All right, chapter 81.
Desperate times,
Get us
batshit
over us.
measures.
Haven't
Yes.
eaten yet.
So, in response to Hades' question, and this is from Hades' perspective, this last little bit, and Lyra responds to his question of, am yours, your queen. And it clicks that shit, that's not current Lyra. That's Lyra, whatever she is. And he's still not really getting the whole grasp of queen, and he's not liking it. Like, his whole internal monologue, he's just like, I'm not liking this, like, queen. He sounds very bitter about it, like, because he just doesn't know how that comes to be. So Lyra sets in to tell him what he has to do, and she's not feeling like, she's not exactly excited. She knows like it's going to tear him apart, and we all know how Lyra is. She doesn't like making him do things that is going to hurt him, but she also knows that like it has to be done. This is the only way. And he is exceptionally resistant to the idea, as we all kind of figured he would be. And so she takes a chance and tells him, I do want to read this paragraph because I felt like it kind of encompasses everything. She says, I am telling you that the version of me standing before you is the future of the girl in your bed right now. I'm telling you that if you do this, as hard as it will be for both you and for her, you will still win my heart in the end. But more importantly, she'll live through the games, and we will both be exactly where we need to be when they're over.
Together
Is his response.
before it got to that, I felt so freaking relieved, guys. Do you remember when we were trying to figure out what the deal was with the lovable and the sirens? Like, why? Do you remember we had this whole thing, like, why did they have to break her heart? And I was like, finally, because she would feel so broken. She wouldn't feel loved.
Yeah.
That was the key. But that was never explained to us.
No.
But it was just the fact that she had to feel so unloved and distraught, and then the sirens couldn't see her. Not somebody loves her, but she's still cursed. So it had nothing to do with the curse in reality. Like, that
It was her
helped.
herself.
Yeah.
Which is,
Yeah.
I think what I said very early on, like, she's self-inflicting.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
it
And she's
wasn't
finally
anything.
said it now. She made it worse the whole way along. But I was like, oh my God, thank you. I let it go, but it still bothered me.
Well, and while we're going back, I just wanted to mention too, he says Aphrodite once told him that there's a balance in the universe, and yes, he carries this prophecy and his powers over death and grave responsibility, but it would be balanced out with something equally sweet one day. And he says, I'm hoping like hell's that Lyra is the sweet.
That was
So I
sweet.
thought that was sweet.
Okay. And About 2 breaths later, Hades actually admits that he has been in love with her since her teenage years visit, which he then internally is like, holy shit, I can't believe I just said that out loud. But then he remembers, like, how dare she ask me to just destroy all of this? Like, I've been waiting thousands and thousands of years for this to be a reality. It's finally here. And now you're asking me to not only risk it, but to break it and not have proof that it's going to work. Which, to be fair, even though it happened in her future, like, doesn't mean something doesn't change in the current time. You know, that's how time is. It's real weird. But so he says, he asks her, like, when she's again, just like, you have to trust me, over and over and over again. And she asks him, what will help you hold on? He says, why won't you let go? You're the reason there's a prophecy, because I burned the world for you. And this is in my notes where I said, called it, bitches. Woo. So we finally have written proof that she's definitely 100% the reason that that prophecy exists and is so terrible in his favor. But then Lyra goes on to convince him that he would never do that because he knows it would break her heart if she did, if he did.
Which
His-
that's the
his mom says-
conversation he references at the very beginning when he's sitting in the rubble, when everything falls on him, and Carry On's like, she wouldn't want you to do this. And he says, Lyra once told me not to burn the world for her.
Yep.
Because it would break her.
Yep.
And we no. I think when we were talking about that, we're like, we haven't seen that yet. But
And I did like where she then, towards the end of the conversation, they finally get to it, and she's like, whatever trouble I get into, I promise you I can get myself out. I don't need you for that. I just need you to wait and hold me afterward. I actually like that part of her. And he says, I've waited for you this long, which is his final acquiescence to basically agreeing to do this awful thing that neither of them wants to do but knows has to be done. And she makes him promise, maybe one day you can make me a promise that you'll fight it. If the prophecy does come for you, fight it for me. And he's like, fuck, you ask for the world. She's like, only because I know you'll give it, which was endearing to say the least. And they do a slight little makeout session, and he has the internal feeling like she's definitely not telling me something. And I feel like the way this ended was the saddest, like, ever. Like, they stop kissing, and he's like, they have their foreheads touching, and his eyes are closed, and he's just breathing her in. And in his mind, he's like, there's a terrible, endless emptiness I've become so familiar with over millennia. When I open my eyes, I'm alone. It's like, that was so sad. And I made this. Can you guys see my?
it's off center. I can see a sticky note. I can't read what's on it. To your face.
Oh.
Yes.
Can you see my stand face? But
I highlighted where Hades says, I think I've been in love with you since I was a teenager when you showed up at my family's home in the overworld and told me that you had faith, that I'd learn to control my powers, that I wasn't dangerous, and for whatever reason, I believed you. You found,
Yeah.
like, I think that's the first time he said anything. She says, the god of death and future king of the underworld, struck down by love at first sight. Aphrodite would be ecstatic if she knew.
I did like that part. Before we go to the other sections, I just want to say that, so part 7, where it says the Queen's Gambit. Fuck the fates. I am in charge now. I wrote a
It's
note.
her gambit.
Yes.
She's the queen. It's her gambit.
I said, I feel like the proper send-off sentiment here can only be, buckle up, bitches, at dawn we ride. But I am excited for the next section. I will say that's probably one of my favorite part or section
Titles.
Well, the
That's
next
that we had.
section will be, we'll figure it out, but we're going to read the rest of the book, and then we'll be together, whether it's one really long episode or 2.
Shoot, I forgot.
Oh, snap.
Parts 7 and 8.
I'll read this shit on the plane.
What?
Yeah, I might start it tonight. Bookends.
Oh, God.
I can.
I
throw
never
something
remember that we do
together.
this until this moment.
You want to
Yeah.
go first here?
I just love 71, getting another perspective of Hades. Like I said, I am excited to see book 3, and I hope we get more of him, or at least back to him being involved. Because yeah, I definitely miss like his character in the book. So I love that we're getting these and like how in depth we're getting and just the other side. And at the same time, because I'm editing these and I'm seeing like what our original theories are. And like you guys being so hard on Hades all the time. And I was like, I think something is gonna come up as to why he's leaving her.
No, we
and
were
why
really
he's
pissed at him, Ashley. He was fucking with her.
yeah, you
And it broke
both
her
were
heart.
very
We were very
In the
mad.
first book.
very
Yes.
I was like, no, my little blue flamed devil. Like, no, I love him.
no, like when these things were happening that we're talking
Yeah.
about right now, you guys were like this
When he
fucking
broke her
asshole.
heart. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my favorite part of this section. Or yes, yeah. And then negative. I don't know. Negative. Maybe just like I want more information on Rhea and like how she's been talking to Medusa, but nobody else knows. Nobody else knows about the glamours. Like, yeah, maybe she's in it with Lyra and it's part of the whole plot, but it's got to be something big for her not to tell anybody, even Kronos, because Kronos was the one specifically that was confused that the doors existed.
I just cannot imagine Rhea being
Bad.
an
No,
antagonist.
I don't think so either. Like I think it is like her also working with Lyra. And like nobody can know because something. But
Yeah.
it's just
I
a
wanna go
negative
with
that
that
it's like
too.
starting to kind of paint her a little bit like secretive. And again, we don't know a lot from her, but like we really like her. So kind of like Aphrodite almost, right? Where it's like we really like Aphrodite, but then she's got some questionable
I still
qualities.
think she's in the mix on the no list.
I do too.
I don't
So
know why and I don't know how, but I think she's definitely a big component in that.
I think we're going to get to Aphrodite's lock and we're going to find out. I think that's like, because
what if the book ends right when they go into Aphrodite's luck?
Oh God, you know, right after this, I'm gonna check the chapters now.
No, don't.
Like, I mean, you can't stop me. We're finishing the book after this. So what?
I guess that's true. That's true.
You know, I feel like that none of the Titans know about Aphrodite's lock because Lyra's never made it through it.
And all they can see is the ring of fire.
And she can't remember going through it before because time reset and she reset.
What if Aphrodite's the one that's wiping everyone's memories? That's her power that she lost.
That's fair. Fair. And like the
I have
the
no way
memory
of
wipe,
punching holes in that.
the memory wipe would be the big component of the glamour. Like the glamours don't even have to be that strong because there's not something fighting that, like they don't have something fighting that internally. It is just all they've ever known.
What if Aphrodite is the one that's actually getting in and out somehow of Tartarus? And so in her lock, she's always actually there. It's not just this itty bitty little clip of her soul. It's really Aphrodite.
She is the end. She's the last lock. Like if there was one that would be penetrable from the outside, I would imagine it would be that one. Dun dun dun.
Interesting.
I'm about to go read.
Oh, girls. My
Oh,
book
no, I just
ends-
started a brand new book right before this, so I'm definitely reading that one.
My book ends. I was really upset when Hades hated Lyra at the end of the last section. And so I was very happy when that was short lived. He's already like between the two chapters we got of him in this one, I like remembering that I just love him very much. And he was just upset. And it's fine. He can be upset. And then the Oceanus aspect, I'm stressed out about what his deal is. But I feel validated because we have theories about him and he keeps getting like brought back in the loop. And every time a little bit more is divulged. But I'm stressed about him.
Yeah.
Any answers, Abigail?
I agree.
My turn. So I think my favorite part of this whole section is the opportunities that are arising with the introduction of Medusa. Like I'm really excited about that. I don't know how it's going to play in.
Still like turn you to stone.
I mean, you know, is life really worth living if there's not a little bit of edge to it? I mean, I'm excited about that. I really like her character. You don't really get to see her very often in really any genres in these, which I do want to read that book that just came out by her. But anyways, my least favorite part, I don't really think there's anything specific that I just was like, meh. But I will say, like, I don't know, I still feel like there's a lot of ebb and flow in like the filler sections that sometimes I feel like we're talking about a whole lot of things that don't actually matter. And so it's hard for me to like keep interested. And I'm just like, no, I have to do this because my sisters are going to be all pissy if like I have to say,
Okay,
I
well,
didn't read
that's
it.
not a bookend about the book, so try again.
It is like the book was a little slow in a few spaces because it was overly detailed on things that do not play in.
Do you struggle with like like this one, for instance, last time we didn't have to listen to Poseidon's Lock and like all the details that was. But this time there's a very long chapter on the actual struggles of getting through the lock. I feel like that's not as much your jam, like the games and
It's the
trials.
repetitive. I feel like it gets repetitive. Like with the first book, when I was getting like really frustrated because it was like, here's another labor, here's another labor. Like I feel like we just missed the actual interconnections in the different relationships of the characters because we're focused on these stupid labors and locks and
You don't want to play
whatever.
no games. I don't want to play no games.
But clearly, like all I don't have is time. My shirt died. But like there wasn't anything in particular that was just like a fucking 6 in this section.
I can't believe we only have 2 sections left. I mean, obviously I would have finished this book 4 weeks ago
Yeah.
if we weren't reading it for a book club, because it's not like it would have just pulled me in and I would have finished it. But like, I can't believe we're almost done with it.
I think I am going to have to read it after this, like by myself in a couple of months, like start to finish. Because I'll say, like, even though I read this section a week ago, it's like when you guys were doing your section, I was like, did I read that?
Don't you
And
do
I'm
it
like,
now?
oh, yeah, I did.
Just read the whole thing.
Like,
So
I
yeah,
have to figure
we'll
out what I'm bringing to
do
Thanksgiving.
parts 7 and 8. So that'll be fun that we will be together and can get all the gore details of the final and see what kind of cliffhanger we end up on, because there's going to be something.
Wait, then should we read what part 8 is called?
Oh, both
I
of
feel
them?
like it's only fair.
But it's also risky because you're jumping ahead.
Yeah. And then
There's
we
a
will have
glossary.
to pick a new book as well. So y'all
my
be
God.
thinking
Do we
about
want
next book.
like a single book? Do we want a
You
series?
guys.
I don't know. I don't want to know.
I just read what the title of part 8 is. It's good.
I don't want to know.
We're going to do one big episode.
Maybe. We'll see how long it is.
That's
All
fine.
right.
We did pretty good. Okay. Tonight-ish. Time-wise.
Join us next episode for the final end of the Things Gods Break. And we will reveal what book we're doing next. All right. Love ya.
Maybe.
Love you. Love you.
Good, bye.